Ullery, and I think the other guy's name was Patrick. Where
yeah, they were funny too.
well, it was just funny to me because she makes her name sound like all fancy, and then the other guy's just like, my name's Patrick. So it was kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, my name's Mao Wing Ying, and what's your name? Bob. Just he was like, it's a fancy name, and then it just goes into just simple. It's like, oh, I'm Patrick, whatever. But no, it was just really cool just seeing that, and everybody got the chance to meet some of the, Oscar nominees or some of the stars. It was just really cool. And again, you mentioned, Denzel Washington. I loved the woman's reaction when Jimmy Kimmel says, who's your favorite actor? And she just looks over, points at Denzel Washington, and says, that guy. Denzel just comes over, just like, hey, how you doing? It was awesome. All right, so from that, we go on to the film nominations and awards. Basically, kind of quick breakdown as to how it went down. As far as nominations go, La La Land got 14 nominations. With 8 nominations, that was Arrival and Moonlight. 6, Hacksaw Ridge, Lion, Manchester by the Sea. 4 for Fences and Hell or High Water. 3 for Hidden Figures and Jackie. And 2 for a long list of movies ranging from Deepwater Horizon to Florence Foster Jenkins, from Kubo and the Two Strings to Moana, Passengers, Rogue One, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Man Called Ov. It just ranged big time. And kind of give you guys a quick spoiler, basically films that received multiple awards. 6 went to La La Land, 3 went to Moonlight, and 2 went to Hacksaw Ridge and Manchester by the Sea. And honestly, there was a lot. We'll get right into it. Starting off with the first 2 at the bottom of the Wikipedia page. Best Film Editing went to Hacksaw Ridge, and Best Visual Effects went to The Jungle Book, for which a lot of us, well, myself, really was hoping that it would go to Doctor Strange. But I'm not going to deny that Jungle Book did not deserve that, because, like you mentioned, this kid basically had to almost carry the whole story while they had to do CGI animations, and he's doing this all within a blue screen. Just crazy how much work and effort that they put into that.
Yeah, definitely know about Jungle Book and everything. Mm-hmm. I think they did a great job. I think they definitely deserved some Oscar points there. So I think that they deserve the Oscar, just seeing all that and all the special CGI and all the effects they had to do. I mean, that was the category. So again, Doctor Strange was really great. A lot of, I think the same special effects might have been used a little too often, and maybe that's why they didn't win the Oscar. I could see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that The Jungle Book was well-deserved, and as much as I'd like to see Marvel, I don't know if Marvel has an Oscar yet, but I know that DC got one for The Dark Knight, and now they got one for Suicide Squad. But I'm not for sure. I totally could be just not educated about the Marvel Oscars, but I was just trying to look it up in general. But I don't know if Marvel has another Oscar. I would think they would with all the superhero movies they produce. But
well, I'll look into that while we get into the next category. That being, well, the next 2 categories that were on here. That being, oh no, now I lost my place. There we go. Like you mentioned, Best Makeup and Hairstyling went to Suicide Squad, and then Best Costume Design went to Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Let's really talk a lot about the Best Makeup and Hairstyling, because you and I both had the same reaction of just like, wow, they won, surprisingly enough. I mean, you can make the case for, I think it was, Empress and, and basically the crocodile guy, they had a lot of good makeup and hairstyling for them. But looking at it as a whole with all the categories of, the Man Called Ov as well as Star Trek Beyond, I looked at it and I thought, well, it kind of would have went more to Star Trek. I'm not usually big on Star Trek. I got a chance to watch a couple of classic episodes, and it's just really hard for me to get into. I'm not dissing it at all. Don't get me wrong. But it was kind of one of those things where I thought, I think Star Trek Beyond kind of deserved a little more than that. I think that it deserved the Oscar more than Suicide Squad because I thought that their makeup was just outstanding. It kind of almost reminded me a lot of, like Avatar or some of the other great films. But Suicide Squad, really? I mean, I don't know where the thought process really came in there. I just don't see Suicide Squad really wing that. Yeah, they had some great, makeup and hairstyling designs, but I think that it definitely deserved to go to Star Trek Beyond. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being bitter because DC won and Marvel didn't, but it's just one of those things where I'm just really confused on where they thought that maybe that movie was better than Star Trek. I don't know. Your thoughts?
My only thing would be, again, we're not in the Academy. We don't know. I don't have the list of criteria that was up there that made them win or whatnot, but when I hear makeup and hairstyling, I don't always think of FX makeup. I don't know if that's a different category or if it, I kind of don't think it would be, but maybe just the style that Star Trek used was maybe more computerized than what we think they were, because a lot of the, I saw the costumes and the characters that Star Trek has made, and I've seen that movie. I really liked Star Trek Beyond a lot, and that's why when we were watching the Oscars, I kind of was like, I couldn't see Suicide Squad beating them, but when you kind of saw the kind of back-to-back who they presented as, like, when they were saying best makeup nominees, Suicide Squad, they were showing Joker, they were showing Harley Quinn, they were showing Killer Croc, and for Star Trek, they kind of only showed two people, and that was the main girl who is kind of all whited out with the black lines up her face. I forget her name, but she was like one of the main chicks for Star Trek Beyond. And then they also showed Idris Elba's character, who was the main bad guy, and he had to grow into his deformity or whatnot. He went from looking like a crazy alien figure to looking like him. And that was an incredible makeup transformation. So it's kind of surprised that Suicide Squad beat him, but maybe we just don't know what type of makeup was used. Like maybe it was all just like printed and they just like pasted it on for these people and they didn't really have to do much. But that could be my only explanation of why Suicide Squad might have just had just more actual makeup artist work than the FX makeup work. But I don't know. I'm with you. I don't know really from just looking at it from back here where I am in the entertainment industry where I'm just a low actor who hasn't been in a much. I do makeup myself. I'm like, it looks like Star Trek Beyond had more work and more product. But again, we don't know.
Yeah. Oh, and basically touch base on the whole Marvel winning an Oscar deal. It looks like the only Marvel Oscar that they got was for Spider-Man 2 in 2004 for Best Visual Effects. So, at least we could say that they won one, at least, but,
But I feel like even that, I'm like, really? They won for that movie?
Well, in all fairness, and I'm talking from experience, I think that It's 2 did better than 3, but I also think that 3, casting-wise, was not the best one. And I did mention in my Changing Up Spidey podcast how I would have differed it, like not have, Topher Grace be, Eddie Brock, because, geez Louise, Topher Grace, love the guy, but he's just a little pipsqueak. I'm sorry. He still reminds me of as the guy Eric Foreman from that 70s show. And seeing him go from that to being a villain, it's like, It's kind of head scratching.
Yeah, well, what's that special effects, though? Like, that doesn't matter. I'm talking about, they had Guardians of the Galaxy, they had the Avengers. Those things are, I actually think that special effects-wise, they probably trumped Spider-Man 2, but I guess maybe in that day and age, maybe.
Maybe.
Have they had other nominations? Can you look at those? they at least had nominations. Because, I mean, I guess if you're up against Avatar, you're not going to win.
Right.
I'm pretty sure their movies was, but...
Yeah, I don't know.
Go into that when we're on the topic again, but yeah. I just can't believe, it's had some really good special. I mean, Iron Man, when it came out, it was seriously like, whoa. Like, they have a whole suit moving around, doing these crazy things, and it's definitely all special effects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to probably look into that. Maybe save that for another episode. But anyway, move on from that to two of the categories that La La Land won. Best Production Design, as well as Best Cinematography. Arrival won Best Sound Editing, which I can't really disagree with that. Best Sound Mixing went to Hacksaw Ridge. Best Original Score went to La La Land. Best Original Song went to City of Stars from La La Land. And let's actually talk about that, because you and I were really kind of confused about when they did the actual song performances. Of course, the girl who played Moana, she sang the song, and unfortunately we only got to see half of it because the rooms that we were staying at, the connection was just horrible channel wise. But the following day, I actually remember them talking to the actress about, singing on there, and how there was that one ribbon that actually got her in the face and how she barely was fazed by that. And I'm thinking, well, she wasn't going to pull something that happened at one of the Grammys, like you were telling me earlier in the day, that somebody just said, like, oh, I messed up, I'm sorry, can I just restart it, can I do this, blah, 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 blah. But I just respected her, just saying, like, oh, it happened. Hey, it happened, whatever. I'm totally okay with that. Let's just keep going. But, yeah. Empty Chair was played. Can't Stop the Feeling kicked off the Oscars. City of Stars was performed by John Legend. Am I correct in assuming that?
Yeah.
And they didn't even do Audition the Fools Who Dream. So I'm still confused on why everybody else who did the movie from, Trolls, Jim the James, Foley's Story, and Moana, they had the original actors, sing it. But then when it came to La La Land, it felt like, they were saying, like, oh, we're too good for that, so we're just going to have somebody else sing our song, or not even sing the final song. So it's just, I don't know, it's just really weird. I don't understand again, another thing where I just don't understand their mindset. And this has nothing to do with the Academy. I think it has more to do with the people who were, producing, or they're as directing for La La Land. It's just, why wouldn't they have, Emma Stone? Why wouldn't they have Ryan Gosling sing those songs? Because that's what got them the nomination in the first place.
I mean, my answer to that would maybe be wrong, but the only thing I could think of for you to bring on a person like John Legend to come and sing your song for you, which he did he did an awesome job, I enjoyed it, is maybe Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone really didn't sing in the movie, or they were very auto-tuned, where they wanted the songs to sound as amazing as possible on screen, but maybe they're not the best singers, or they just didn't feel comfortable. That could be my only explanation there, and that, to me, that takes away a little bit from La La Land in general. So that's why I think we were both like, what the heck? Like, why aren't they singing it? Like, oh, well, maybe they're not the best singers, and I'm somebody who, I play a singer, and I mean, I can karaoke the crap out of any song. I'll have a great time, but I definitely don't think I'm the best singer in the world. And if they were like, hey, can we put someone else's voice over yours just so that your character actually is true, and if she's supposed to be an amazing singer and you're just not, but we'll still have you here, but we just need a more amazing voice, I'd be like, yeah, that's totally fine. If you're saying they have to be the amazing voices that they are, and maybe if the actor doesn't have that voice, they just, do what they can, that would be my answer to that, but I'm not 100% sure.
I was about to say, are you talking about the role you play as Stacy in The Deadersons? Because there were quite a few moments where I was thinking to myself, oh, I get to hear her sing, but then I hear like this pop teen sensations voice coming out. It's like, what? I know she's actually pretty.
I actually did sing a little bit in there, but they just haven't. We don't have the rights to any songs or anything. So